Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy AR Legends, and today I shall be uploading another series, the first part of it, which is going to be what if Naruto was disowned by his family. Well, guys, I know that I have did the similar series, but trust me, guys, it's just a name which is a bit similar. Like, what if Naruto was abandoned by his family? But the story is definitely going to be changed a lot. As in this series, he is going to be like totally disowned. That he's not even their son. As Naruto will not known as the son of Minato, or Naruto did not even knew that he was the son, as they just simply after his birth you can say disown him. It is going to be that type of story, and it is most likely going to be an evil series, OP as well. So if you guys don't like the series like that, you can see some other video, but it is going to be like it, and it is my I think that first time I'm going to make a series like this in which Naruto is totally going to be evil. So I hope that you guys will like it. But before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video to come on guys, subscribe to my channel. I'm quite near to 6,000 subscribers and I want to reach 10,000 as quick as possible. That is the reason I'm uploading a lot of videos nowadays. So please guys subscribe as well as I have put the link of a channel of YouTube of my friend who told me in Instagram. So please subscribe to that channel as well as I have put the link of Instagram within the description below as well. So follow me on Instagram as well. So without any further ado, let us start our video. The story will begin as the Nine Tails was destroying the village as the roar could be heard across all the village as all the villagers were running away. And then a single man stood up to the Nine Tails. It was none other than Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, who has just become a father of two children. It is going to be Naruto Uzumaki and Mito Uzumaki. As two children, two twins were born within the house of Minato Namikaze, who was really happy after being a father to two children. But then the Nine Tails was released from his wife by the hands of a masked man, as Minato was really right now was not in a condition, as he started to fight off against the masked man as he defeated him in time. And now it was time for the Nine Tails as the giant toad Gamabonta was summoned on the top of the Nine Tails as the Nine Tails was about to release his Bijudama on third Hokage along with the village. But then Minato, you can say simply flying Raijin away the Nine Tails into the barrier where Kushina along with two children were actually waiting, as Minato did not had any choice as he had to perform the that seal. But then suddenly third Hokage arrived within the area by using the Sunshine. As he arrived there, as Minato was surprised as barrier was about to be put on so that Nine Tails could not be released, as Kushina was holding the Nine Tails. As third Hokage said, Minato, I know that what you are actually thinking. You have decided to use the Reaper Dead Seal, didn't you? As Minato was looking towards Third Hokage in with calm expression as he said, well, Lord Third, I'm the Hokage of this village. I have to do this to protect my people. As Third Hokage said, no Minato, you are still young. I am past from my time. And if you die, I have to take care of village once again. And I don't think that my body has enough power to do so. So allow me, Minato. It is the least I can do for my village. Minato wanted to argue, but Third Hokage did not left any space for that as you quickly go through hand signs performing the Reaper Death Seal as the Shinigami finally appeared behind the third Hokage as Minato's eyes widened. As before he could do anything, Shinigami was already being summoned as third Hokage looked towards Minato and said, so Minato, how do you want me to do the sailing? Who should be the next Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails? As Minato thought it for some time and said, well, Lord Third, seal half of the Nine Tails within Naruto and the remaining half in Mito, but steal some of the chakra within Kushina so that she could survive. As third Hokage nodded as he sealed away 1 or 2% of the chakra within Kushina and then remaining 50% in Naruto and 48% in Mito, as the sealing process was finally completed, as Minato was sad by the death of his ancestor, or you can say third Hokage. But finally the village was saved from the attack of the Nine Tails as Minato's life was spared by the hands of third Hokage, and it was a plus point for Minato. But soon the trouble will rise in the household of Minato and he has to take care of it a lot. The next day, Minato was, you can say, Tsunade arrived as she was able to heal Kushina as she was finally able to survive as Minato was walking within the village as he saw that how people really suffered a lot from the attack of the Nine Tails as many of the shinobi just died in this attack. This really frustrated Minato a lot as Then he saw the condition of the village, and then finally it was about time to explain to the village that what actually happened to the nine tails as he was standing in front of people. As he saw the hatred inside of the people when he was walking around the village, when people just talk about the nine tails as well as the hatred they actually had, they were really happy that fourth Hokage has finally defeated the nine tails. But whenever the nine tail word was speak in front of them, the hatred could be seen in their eyes. As Minato quickly realized that what will happen to his children if he announces that they are the Jinchuriki of the nine tails, but the council has already decided that Minato will tell the villagers who is the Jinchuriki of the nine tails. It is much more important to show other villages that they still have the nine tails, and nine tails is not killed off or has escaped from the hidden leaf village. So Minato was forced to do it as he talked with Kushina at night. Now let us go there. As Minato was sitting in front of Kushina, as Kushina had two children in her arms, it was Naruto along with Mito. As Mito had red hair, as Naruto had blonde hair. As Kushina looked towards, you can say, well, guys, I was thinking about it, but it is always much more fun when there are two, Menma and Mito. So there are three children to be exact: Menma, Mito, and Naruto. As Menma have 25% of the chakra of the nine tails along with Mito, while Naruto has the remaining 50% of the chakra, and Kushina had a little bit of chakra so that she could actually survive from the extraction of the nine tails. So that is that. As Minato was thinking what they should do, as Kushina speak up, well, Minato, I don't want all of my children to suffer, so we have to do something about it. As Minato was thinking what they could actually do, as then Kushina said, well, we could always save two of our childrens, Minato. As she was just looking away from Minato, as Minato's eyes widened when Kushina said that, as Minato looked towards her and said, what did you say, Kushina? As Kushina said, well, Minato, you know that Menma and Mito only have 25% of the chakra of the nine tails, while Naruto has the remaining 50% of the chakra. I don't want to do this, Minato, but if we want to save our two of our childrens, we have to tell the village that only Naruto has the nine tails power, and Naruto having 50%, it could easily be shown in time. So there is no point hiding that Naruto is the Jinchuriki of the nine tails. As Minato wanted to argue, but he started to think about it. On one side, all of his children will suffer, and on the other side, only one of his children will have to go through the life of the Jinchuriki of the nine tails. As Minato said, but Naruto, how can we do this, Kushina? As Kushina sighed and said, well, Minato, I was thinking that we should put Naruto in the orphanage as well. As Minato said, what are you talking about, Kushina? We cannot do that. He's our son. As Kushina said, Minato, Menma and Mito are also our children, as both of them have the power of the nine tails, but Naruto having so much concentration of the chakra inside of him, it will influence both Menma and Mito. I don't want to do this as well, Minato. He's my son as well, but we have to make a sacrifice here, as well as all the hatred will be directed towards Naruto, and his chakra, his seal will not influence Menma and Mito as well. He has the full soul of the nine tails. So, the soul near to the remaining chakra that is inside the seal of Menma and Mito, it will really affect both of them. As Minato was going through, he did not knew what type of seal Third Hokage actually placed upon both Naruto along with Menma and Mito. He knew the seal, but he does not know what will be the effect of the soul near to the chakra. So he really started to think about it. As he said, well, Kushina, to be honest, I really don't want to do this as well, just as much as you don't. But still, you're right, we have to make a sacrifice here if we want to save both Menma and Mito from the village as well as from the Nine Tails itself. We have to sacrifice by looking towards Naruto. As then a sad smile came to Minato as he picked up Naruto as he said, I'm sorry, Naruto. I hope that one day you will be able to forgive me. As he went off, and now Minato was standing in front of all the villagers as villagers were looking towards Minato, as Minato finally announces that Naruto is the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, as everyone started to, you can say, scream that kill the boy, as throw the boy from the Hokage monument, as Minato guilt started to build up inside of Minato. It was him, the father of the very child, who shall destroy this world one day or rule as a supreme power. But right now, Minato was a guilty father, as he was just in his mind there was only few words, I'm sorry, Naruto, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Only these words were going through the mind of the fourth Hokage, the hero of the hidden in the leaves village. And now we have a time skip as the 4 years old child was running from the mob of villagers. This time there was no third Hokage, so there was no law passed by the third Hokage that no one will talk about the Nine Tails, as Minato did not have enough power to stop the villagers. Even though Naruto was his son, it was not announced publicly. No one knew that Naruto was the son of Minato, as only the few people like clan heads knew about it. But Minato put Naruto in the orphanage so that he could save both Manma and Mito from the influence of the seal that was placed upon Naruto. So he did not know what will be the reaction of the soul near to the chakra of the Nine Tails. So he had to separate Naruto from both Manma and Mito. As 4 years old, Naruto was just running from a mob of villagers, but it was his small legs are definitely not going to bring him far away from the angry mob who just wanted to rip this boy to the shreds. As then, unfortunately, he tripped and then finally caught up. As one of the villagers said, "Alright, demon, it is time for your regular beating. So, did you really thought that you would escape from us? You shall pay for each and every villager you kill, you demon." As he grabbed Naruto from the throat and then pulled him inside of the alleyway as all the villagers follow along with some shinobi, and then the only things that could be heard from. Now let us go to the other side as a family, happy family of 4 people: Minato, Kushina and Manma and Mito, blonde hair boy as well as a red hair. Not blonde hair, let's say both Manma and Mito have red hair. As they were just passing by, and then both of them, all of them heard screams that were coming from an alley. These screams seems to be a screams of a small boy or a small kid, as both Kushina along with Minato already realized who could it be. But Manma and Mito were curious as I said, "Mom, what is that, huh? Why these people are beating that kid?" As they could easily see a kid was just beaten by the all the mob of the villagers. As Kushina looked towards the boy with pure sad as well as guilt in her eyes, along with Minato who just simply looked away. He just could not face these things. As Mito speak up, "Dad, who is that kid?" As Kushina said, "Don't worry, honey. Let's go. Let us go to the ramen stand. Yeah, ramen." As all of them started to walk away, as both Manma and Mito were still curious about things, and who could that kid be and how their parents actually just ignored the boy. As while on the other hand, Naruto was just getting beaten up as all the villagers were just passing by and with a huge smile on their faces. It was like the demon, the nine-tailed demon was screaming, while on the other hand, only a small boy was getting beaten up. As then Naruto saw a kunai that was coming towards his chest, as one of the shinobi said, "Alright demon, it is about time for you to die. You shall pay for each and every people you killed in this village." As Naruto saw the kunai that was coming close, even closer to his chest, as he could not believe it, he was going to die here. As then suddenly his eyes changed into red, as two tomoe in both of the eyes could be seen, but then he did not have enough power or chakra, as his eyes just got shut. And next thing he remembered, he was in the, you can say, hospital once again. After Naruto got knocked out, after awakening his birthright, a new power that he never thought he actually had. Not even the one who was inside of him knew that this power was inside of this kid. But it is going to be later on. As Naruto once again opened his eyes, it was the third time of the same month that he got knocked out or got beaten pretty badly and opened his eyes in the hospital, as he do not understand. He was just a kid, not understanding why these people hate him this much. Why does he always get all of these beatings? He do not understand it, but it always hurt him a lot, as right now he has some other things to deal with. As Naruto, after some time, got healed, you can say, as it was actually Minato who sent some ambush so that Naruto could be picked up from the alley and could be in the hospital. It was really something that Minato had to do. After all, he was the Hokage as well as Naruto was his son, even though he has disowned him and no one actually know that Naruto is the son of Minato, but still he has to do it. As now we have a time skip of 6 years old, Naruto was still in the, you can say, orphanage, and finally one day a shinobi arrived as he said, "Well, I want to adopt that kid." As the mother of the orphanage looked towards Naruto, as Naruto was really surprised. It was many times as many parents arrived, as none of them even looked towards him, and whenever they looked towards him in pure disgust, as Naruto was really happy, as this guy was a shinobi, as it was, you can say, he had silver hairs, as his name was. Now, what should be the name of this guy? Let's say Mafoon. Yeah, who cares about the name? As it was a shinobi with silver hair, as his name was Mafoon, not Kakashi, just remember that. As Naruto was really happy as Naruto looked toward the guy as he said, well, what is your name, little kid? As he bowed down to Naruto, as Naruto said, well, my name is Naruto. As he said, Naruto, well, that is a really nice name. So, will you come and live with me, little kid? As Naruto smiled, really happy, first time after such a long time. As in this time, Naruto already has awoken 3 Tomoe Sharingan. But no one in the village or knew about it because Naruto does not know about it either. It was just all the beatings and all the life struggle that he had to go through that it was finally he was able to unlock the 3 Tomoe Sharingan but did not knew how to use this power and how does he have this power in the first place. And now let us go. As Mafune started to raise Naruto for through 2 years and Naruto really started to look up to him like a father as he was really happy that he has a family as this guy really took care of Naruto a lot as one day he finally arrived back at home and then he looked towards Mafune as Naruto had to jump back as several kunais were thrown towards him as Naruto said, "What? What is going on here?" As a masked Ambu landed in front of him and said, "Alright, demon, it is about time for you to die." As he threw several kunais towards him, but Naruto easily dodged each and every one of them as he activated his 3 Tomoe Sharingan. Now flashback. As after being adopted by the hands of Mafune, as Naruto you can say, was able to activate his Sharingan when Mafune was trying to teach him how to be a shinobi or how to activate his chakra. This really surprised the guy as he said, "Well, Naruto, I did not knew that you were an Uchiha." As Naruto said, "An Uchiha? What do you mean by that?" As Mafune said, "Well, have you not known about your eyes? Well, look at that. They are already at 3 Tomoe. Well, I was not expecting that." As he started to laugh, as Naruto said, "3 Tomoe, what are you talking about?" As Mafune started to explain about the Sharingan and Naruto has it. As Naruto said, "So, are you telling me that I am an Uchiha? I have a clan?" As Mafune said, "Well, that is right, Naruto. But it seems that your parents must have died in the Nine Tails attack or something like it. So, that could be the main reason. But it doesn't matter, Naruto." So, as Naruto smiled, as Mafune went off as he was just walking and then he simply jumped into the trees and then went off into a underground base as he kneeled before a man who has a bandage around one of the side of his body and on the other side he had a eye. As he looked towards the guy as Mafune nodded, well Lord Danzo, as per your orders, I have adopted the demon brat. I must say, I'm quite surprised. I have a news for you. As Danzo looked towards the guy and said, "Well, that is quite well. Minato thinks that he can just leave the demon brat out of this all. Well, he will pay. His son, well, he may have disowned him, but definitely that boy will be the weapon that I will use against that damn Hokage Minato. He should have died in the 9 days attack, but he had to just survive. But it doesn't matter. Well, what is the information?" As Mafune nodded, "Well, Lord Hokage, it seems that that boy is an Uchiha." As Danzo's eyes widened, what did you say?" "An Uchiha, you say? Hmm. And how do you know that?" As Mafune said, "Well, Lord Hokage, he has already activated his 3 Tomoe Sharingan." As Danzo's eyes widened and said, 3 Tomoe Sharingan at the age of 6. Quite unexpected, to be honest. But consider how he was living in this time. He had to activate the Sharingan, but I wonder how did that boy got the Sharingan? Minato is not an Uchiha, and Kushina is out of options. So how? And that boy is definitely the son of Minato and Kushina. So how did he get the Sharingan? As Mifune looked towards the Danzo and said, "Lord Danzo, could it be that it is because of the Nine Tails?" As Danzo wondered about the situation and said, "Well, Lord Mito and Kushina Uzumaki did not have the Sharingan, but again, I don't know what type of ceiling that damn Hiruzen put that on that boy. But for now, just keep an eye on him. I want to see that if he somehow is related to the Uchiha, which means that Minato had to be a late descendant of the Uchihas, or some genes arrive here and there. So we have to keep an eye on that boy and start to train him. He could be a weapon that I could use against Minato." With a grin on his face, as Mafune nodded as he went off. And now Let us go back as Naruto right now was 9 years old as he was dodging the attacks from this Ambu. As Ambu started to dash towards Naruto, as Naruto quickly go to hand signs and said fire style, great fireball Chuso as he released a big fireball towards the guy who was able to dodge the attack, but then he met with the eyes of two red glowing eyes and then he was put in again Chuso and then when the moment as he saw that how from all the directions several hottest fireballs were coming towards him as the guy quickly realized that he was in a Genjutsu and then he bit his lip and came out of the Genjutsu, but it was already too late as the sword which was engulfed with lightning chakra was already pierced through his gut and the man's eyes widened as Naruto said, alright, it is about time for you to be down and tell me who are you and who sent you here, otherwise I will kill you as he put the sword inside of the guy even further as Mafun as the guy chuckled and said, well, why don't you remove my mask and see it for yourself, brat? As Naruto said, well, I will do that as he grabbed the mask of that guy and then broke it and the next thing he saw completely shattered his own this whole world as it was the same guy who adopted him, took care of him for 3 years and acted like a father as Naruto took a step back and said, why? It cannot be. You cannot be him. As it was the same guy. It was his father, Mafun. As Naruto dropped to his knees and said, why? Why did you try to kill me? Why? As Mafun started to laugh and said, you little demon. As Naruto heard those words, demon, demon, it was the same words that all the villagers called him. As Mafun said, well, did you really thought that I took care of you? Huh? I cared about you? No, you're nothing. You're nothing but a demon and a weapon for the village to use. And you could never be more than that. I only followed the orders so that I can get close to you to get your all of your secrets, you little demon. You will never be more than that. And you will always remain a demon. No one will acknowledge you. And no one will ever learn to respect you. As he started to laugh maniacally, as Naruto was looking towards this guy, his whole world, the world of happiness he had for 3 years. He was really happy that he got a family, a father, but it was all just shattered. This world, this whole world, Shinobi world, was just a lie, nothing more than a lie. People deceive each other. As Naruto finally stood up, as his eyes started to spin, and then blood started to come from his eyes, and then the Mafon looked in pure horror that he was engulfed in black flames as the screams could be heard as Naruto had a flower pot partner in his eyes as he has finally unlocked the Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes as Mafun was set on black flames as he was screaming in pure pain and agony as he finally dies down, killing the man instantly as Naruto was just looking towards him, his father, the one who raised him all these years. With a blank expression, nothing on his face, all of his emotions were finally dead. Now he did not care about a thing in this world. He was finally starting to realize this world was actually was, but then he closes his eyes. In this time, he already knew about the Nine Tails as Mafun one day told him that how he was the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, but these words finally started to get to him, the demon, as he closes his eyes and then he opened them back to be, only to be in his mind cave, a sewer. As he started to walk, as he said, so this is where the Nine Tails reside, huh? As he started to walk, and then after some walking, he arrived to a point where a giant gate was in front of him. As the giant gate was in front of him, as Naruto started to look inside of the gate, and then after some time, two giant red eyes opened and said, guess what? It seems that my jailer is here to finally pay me a visit, huh? Well, it has been some time. As Naruto looked towards him and said, so, you're the Nine Tails, huh? As Kurama was really surprised, he was not expecting this kid to be this bold. As he said, as he started to laugh and said, yes, I am one of the, no, the mightiest of all the Bijus, the Nine Tails. As he stood up, as Naruto could see the giant fox as well as the Nine Tails that was swimming behind him. As Naruto smirked and said, so, you're the demon that is inside of me, the main reason of all of my sufferings. As Ninetales started to laugh and said, well, you could say that, but it does not matter. as Naruto looked towards him and said, "So, you're the one who's going to answer me everything." As Kurama said, "Oh really? Do you honestly believe, human, that you can force me to do anything?" As Naruto then closed his eyes and said, "I said, you will answer." As he activated his eyes only to be in the Mangekyo Sharingan, as Kurama took a step back and said, "What? How? It could not be. How did you evolve those Sharingan, those pathetic eyes of yours?" As Naruto said, "Oh, so you are scared of this version of the Sharingan? I knew about them. The Mangekyo Sharingan, was it? Well, I read about Madara Uchiha as well, and how he was able to control you. The moment that so-called father of mine told me about you, I started research about you, and I knew that how you fought with first Hokage while under the control of Madara Uchiha, who had the Mangekyo Sharingan. So these are the eyes you are so scared of, aren't you? Nine tails, as Kurama growled at Naruto and said, "You tiny human, do you think that you have the power to control me? I'm the mightiest of all the Bijus, the strongest in the world." And Naruto said, "And you are going to be my pet." As Kurama started to growl at him, but Naruto's eyes started to swing as spin, and then Kurama's eyes started to change into the same pattern as Naruto smirked at that and said, "Finally, now you will obey each and every order of mine. Do you hear me, you damn fox?" As then Ninetales nodded, as Naruto said, "So, it is about time for you to answer each and every question of mine. So, speak up. Why did you attack the village?" As Kurama started to speak, "Well, and Uchiha started to control me at that night as he extracted me from your mother." As Naruto's eyes widened at that information as he said, What are you talking about? My mother, huh? So she was the previous Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. I wonder who she was." As now explain the whole story. As Kurama nodded, as he started to explain that how he was extracted, and then the masked man who called himself to be Madara Uchiha summoned him inside of the village as he started to destroy the village under the influence of the Sharingan, same eyes that he actually possessed. As then he said that how his father then arrived and then took him away, and then his mother wrapped him in chains, and then Tadokage arrived, and then he sealed him inside of him as well as his two siblings. As Naruto in this time had his eyes widened as he said, "What? My father, you say? But I thought it was the fourth Hokage who fought the you, right?" As Kurama nodded and said, "Well, you are his son after all, and my other 50% of the power is sealed inside of your two siblings, Menma and Mito." As in this time, Naruto had pure hatred in his eyes. It could be even seen as well as sensed across all the mindscape. As Naruto said, "So, I'm the son of the fourth Hokage, and I have a mother, Kushina Uzumaki, and two siblings, a whole family, you say?" As so, why am I here? As he looked towards Naruto, as Kurama speak up, "Well, you have most of my powers as well as 100% of my soul, while your siblings only have my chakra. So they thought that my soul, would be near to their seal and their chakra, then it will influence them, as well as they have to put the blame of the Nine Tails attack on someone. So they thought that since you had the most of the chakra, then you should keep all the blame." As in this time, Naruto was in pure anger. So, not only just my parents sacrificed me, but also they have abandoned me, disowned me into the streets, and left me in the time of suffering. I remember that day, that damn fourth Hokage, along with his family, they looked towards me with pure pity while I was getting beaten, and then they simply walked away. Back then, I just thought that it was Hokage, but now I hate them even more. They are my family, and they disown me? No, they shall pay with their lives. No, this whole village shall pay. No, not even that. I shall burn this whole world, the shinobi world. All of this shall pay, and they shall be ruled by me, Naruto Uchiha." As he looked towards Ninetales and said, "Hey, what is your name?" As Ninetales looked towards him and said, "My name is Kurama." As Naruto smirked, "Well, that is a good name for my pet." As he started to walk away, now, as he said, "Now this world shall pay and shall be under me." As he looked towards the Ninetales and said, "What do you know about these eyes?" as Kurama looked towards him for some time and then started to explain the powers of the Sharingan as Naruto smirked and said, well, it seemed that I have to train my eyes as well as get stronger so that I could take over this world and destroy this hellhole which made me suffer for all of this time. As he smirked and went by. Okay guys, here I will left this part. Hope you guys like it. Please like and subscribe. If you guys want the next part of this series, then the like goal is going to be 200 likes as well as 130 comments in the comment section. Do that and I shall upload the next part of this series as quick as possible. So as well as I have some other series to take care of as well, and I shall upload the next part of what if Naruto was the reincarnation of Madara and Hashirama today. So wait for that as well, and please guys subscribe and subscribe. Peace.